A Chinese Type 052D destroyer, 7,000 tons, vertical launch missile systems, advanced radar arrays, patrols waters it claims as sovereign territory. The Philippines calls these waters their own. The international community agrees. At 18:23 hours, the destroyer's radar operators notice something unusual. Small contacts, dozens of them, approaching from multiple directions. Surface vessels, fast, low profile, unmanned. By the time the Chinese crew realizes what's happening, it's already too late. 50 autonomous drones, some on the water, some in the air, converge from a 180-degree arc. They don't communicate by radio. They don't need human operators. They operate as a hive mind, coordinating through AI algorithms tested in secret for 2 years. 12 minutes. That's how long the engagement lasts. When it's over, the destroyer is still afloat, but it's crippled, dead in the water. Radar systems offline, fire control disabled, hull breached in 3 locations. And somehow, the radar footage leaked. The world saw everything. This is the story of how a nation with a defense budget smaller than a single Chinese aircraft carrier just changed naval warfare forever. To understand this incident, you need to understand the Philippines' impossible strategic position. The Philippines is an archipelago nation, 7,000 islands scattered across strategic choke points between the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea. Control the Philippines, and you control access to Asia's busiest shipping lanes. For decades, China has been pushing into waters the Philippines considers its exclusive economic zone, building artificial islands, deploying Coast Guard vessels, harassing Filipino fishermen, using water cannons against resupply missions to Philippine-controlled outposts like Second Thomas Shoal. The Philippines can't win a conventional fight. China's Navy is the world's largest by hull count. Its defense budget is 30 times larger. Its destroyers carry anti-ship missiles that can strike from over 300 kilometers away. But the Philippines has one advantage: geography. The contested areas, the Spratly Islands, Scarborough Shoal, Reed Bank, are close to Philippine territory. That means the Philippine military can operate with land-based support, while Chinese forces are far from home. And in 2022, the Philippines quietly began investing in asymmetric warfare capabilities. Unmanned surface vehicles, loitering munitions, autonomous drone swarms. Inspired by Ukraine's successful attacks on Russian naval vessels in the Black Sea, Filipino defense planners saw an opportunity. If you can't match your enemy ship for ship, you overwhelm them with quantity, with speed, with unpredictability, with drones. February 2025, a Chinese Type 052D destroyer, the Shenzhang, enters waters within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone near Scarborough Shoal. This isn't unusual. Chinese vessels routinely patrol these areas, asserting Beijing's territorial claims through presence operations. What is unusual, the destroyer is conducting what appears to be live fire exercises, testing weapon systems just 80 kilometers from Philippine-controlled territory. The Philippine Navy tracks the vessel through coastal radar. Philippine Coast Guard ships maintain a distant watch. But everyone knows confrontation is futile. The destroyer could sink every Philippine vessel in the area without breaking stride. Then a decision is made not by military commanders, but at the highest levels of government. Authorization is given for Operation Dagat Kalasag, Sea Shield. On Palawan Island, 40 nautical miles from the Chinese destroyer, technicians prepare the drone fleet. 30 unmanned surface vehicles, modified commercial rigid-hull inflatable boats, each measuring 6 meters long, powered by electric motors for silent running. They carry no weapons in the traditional sense. Instead, they're equipped with shaped charges designed to breach hulls below the waterline. 20 aerial drones, a mix of commercial quadcopters modified for military use and custom-built fixed-wing loitering munitions. Some carry cameras for targeting. Others carry small explosive payloads designed to disable radar arrays and weapon systems. Each drone operates semi-autonomously. Human operators provide mission parameters, target location, attack vectors, rules of engagement. But once launched, the drones coordinate through mesh networking and AI swarm algorithms. No individual drone is essential. Destroy one, and the others adapt. They share targeting data in real time, identify defensive weak points, and allocate threats dynamically. It's the same technology that coordinates delivery drones or autonomous vehicle traffic, repurposed for war. At 17:45 hours, the drones launch. The surface drones skim across the water at 40 knots, their low profiles making them difficult to detect on radar. They spread into a wide arc, approaching from the destroyer's port, starboard, and stern simultaneously. The aerial drones climb to 2,000 feet, circling outside the destroyer's close-in weapon system range, waiting for the optimal moment. Aboard the Zhangjiang, radar operators track the contacts, but don't immediately identify them as threats. Small boats, probably fishing vessels. The South China Sea is crowded with commercial traffic. Then the pattern becomes clear. The contacts are converging, accelerating, moving with purpose. The destroyer's captain orders battle stations, the ship's Type 1130 close-in weapon system, a 30mm Gatling gun capable of firing 10,000 rounds per minute, powers up. The crew prepares countermeasures. But here's the problem. The Type 1130 can engage one target at a time, maybe two if the radar can maintain separate tracking solutions. There are 50 targets, and they're coming from every direction. At 18:23 hours, the aerial drones dive. They don't all attack the same target. The swarm's AI has identified priority threats based on the destroyer's defensive posture. Radar arrays, fire control systems, closely-in weapons mounts. 3 drones target the main radar mast. 2 hit defensive countermeasure launchers. 4 more dive toward the bridge windows, not to kill crew, but to shatter glass and create chaos. The Type 1130 engages, filling the sky with tracer fire. It destroys 6 drones in the first 10 seconds. But 14 others get through. Explosions ripple across the destroyer's superstructure. The main search radar goes dark. Fire control systems malfunction. Alarms shriek throughout the ship. And the surface drones are still coming. The unmanned surface vehicles hit from 3 directions simultaneously. The Type 1130 pivots, tracking the closest threats. It destroys 4 surface drones in rapid succession, each exploding in a fireball as their fuel tanks ignite. But it can't track them all. 8 surface drones reach the destroyer's hull. Their shaped charges detonate, not massive explosions, but precisely focused blasts designed to punch through steel plating below the waterline. Hull breaches open in the forward berthing compartment, the engine room, and near the stern. Seawater rushes in. Damage control teams scramble to seal bulkheads. The destroyer is taking on water. More surface drones circle, exploiting the confusion. Some are hit by small arms fire from crew members on deck. Others are destroyed by the Type 1130 as it swings wildly between targets. but the damage is done. At 18:35 hours, 12 minutes after the attack began, the remaining drones break contact. The aerial drones scatter, flying low over the water to evade radar. The surviving surface drones reverse course, accelerating away at maximum speed. The Chinese destroyer doesn't pursue. It can't. The vessel is listing 7 degrees to port. 3 compartments are flooding. The main radar is offline. Secondary systems are struggling to maintain fire control. The captain orders emergency damage control. He requests immediate assistance from nearby Chinese Coast Guard vessels. He does not, however, report the attack through official military channels. Not yet. Because admitting that a single destroyer was crippled by unmanned boats and cheap drones would be a strategic humiliation. 72 hours later, radar footage from the engagement appears online. Not from Philippine sources, not from Chinese military communications, from a third party. Possibly intelligence collection, possibly a whistleblower, possibly deliberate information warfare.
The footage is unmistakable. Dozens of radar contacts converging on a single vessel. The systematic degradation of the destroyer's defensive capabilities. The vessel's eventual withdrawal under escort. The video goes viral. Defense analysts worldwide dissect every frame. News outlets scramble to verify the footage. China initially denies the incident occurred, then claims it was a routine exercise, then stops commenting entirely. The Philippines doesn't officially confirm involvement, but senior defense officials give off-the-record briefings to journalists, making clear the message: we can defend our waters, and we just proved it. This wasn't just a military engagement. It was a proof of concept. The Philippines demonstrated that a nation with limited resources can challenge a superpower's conventional naval superiority through asymmetric tactics. The cost comparison is staggering. The Chinese Type 05 2D destroyer costs approximately $900 million to build. The entire Philippine drone fleet used in this attack? Under $5 million. For every drone destroyed, the Philippines can build 10 more. For the destroyer's repairs, months in dry dock, tens of millions of dollars, and permanent damage to China's perception of invulnerability. Defense establishments worldwide took notice. Within weeks, naval forces across the globe began reassessing anti-drone capabilities. The U.S. Navy accelerated development of directed energy weapons, lasers, and high-powered microwaves designed to destroy drone swarms cheaply and quickly. NATO countries increased funding for counter-unmanned systems. China launched an investigation into why the destroyer's defenses failed so catastrophically, and quietly began retrofitting vessels with additional close-in weapon systems and electronic warfare capabilities. But here's the uncomfortable truth. There's no perfect defense against drone swarms. Traditional naval doctrine assumes threats arrive from predictable vectors, missiles, torpedoes, aircraft. Defensive systems are designed to prioritize high-value threats. Drone swarms invert that logic. Every drone is cheap, every drone is expendable, and together they overwhelm defensive calculations. It's the same problem air defenses face with saturated missile attacks, but exponentially worse because drones cost a fraction of what missiles cost. The incident fundamentally changed power dynamics in the South China Sea. Before, China operated with impunity, knowing smaller nations couldn't effectively resist. After, every Chinese vessel operating in contested waters faces a new calculus. Any engagement could result in humiliating losses to cheap, autonomous weapons. The Philippines didn't need to sink the destroyer. Damaging it and proving it could be done was enough. Other Southeast Asian nations took notice. Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, All countries with South China Sea disputes began exploring similar asymmetric capabilities. China responded by increasing its maritime militia presence. Hundreds of ostensibly civilian vessels that shadow foreign ships and complicate targeting. If the Philippines attacks a destroyer, that's one thing. Attacking what appears to be a fishing boat? Much harder to justify. The South China Sea conflict entered a new phase. Not open warfare, but constant probing. Drones versus countermeasures. Autonomous systems versus electronic warfare. Perception management versus information operations. A gray zone conflict where neither side admits they're fighting. 12 minutes. 50 drones. One crippled destroyer. The Battle of Scarborough Shoal, as defense analysts now call it, will be studied in military academies for decades. Not because it was particularly large or destructive, but because it represents a fundamental shift in how wars are fought. For centuries, naval power meant big ships, steel hulls, heavy guns. Whoever built the most powerful vessels controlled the seas. Then came missiles. Then came submarines. Each innovation forced navies to adapt or become obsolete. Drones are the latest evolution, and they change everything. Because drones democratize military power. A nation doesn't need aircraft carriers or nuclear submarines to project force. It needs ingenuity, technology, and the willingness to think asymmetrically. The Philippines demonstrated something profound. You don't need to match your enemy's strength. You need to exploit their vulnerabilities. China's destroyers are marvels of engineering, but they're designed to fight other destroyers, to shoot down missiles, to dominate through conventional superiority. They're not designed to fight 50 coordinated autonomous vehicles operating with hive mind intelligence. And that's the future of warfare. Not human soldiers charging across battlefields, not massive formations of tanks and aircraft. Swarms, AI coordination, expendable platforms that cost pennies compared to what they destroy. Ukraine proved it against Russia's Black Sea Fleet. The Philippines proved it against China's Navy, and now every military in the world is racing to adapt. But adaptation takes time. Drone technology evolves faster than traditional defense procurement. By the time navies develop effective countermeasures, the drones will have evolved again. Smarter algorithms, better coordination, more sophisticated attack patterns. It's an arms race where the underdog has the advantage, because building drones is cheaper and faster than building destroyers. The leaked radar footage of this engagement serves as a warning. To China, your conventional superiority doesn't guarantee dominance. To the Philippines, asymmetric warfare carries risks, miscalculation, escalation, retaliation. To the world, the next major war won't look like the last one. It will look like this: autonomous, distributed, overwhelming. And it's already begun. The South China Sea remains contested. Chinese vessels still patrol disputed waters. Philippine drones still monitor their movements. Both sides are preparing for the next encounter, because there will be a next encounter. The question isn't whether drone swarms will be used again. It's how many, how sophisticated, and whether anyone will be able to stop them. 50 drones changed the game. Imagine what 500 could do.